Frogs, Earth's most extraordinary hunters. There exists a world that you have never truly seen. This world lives in darkness. It hunts in silence. It breathes through its skin. And it can survive almost anywhere on Earth. What is this creature? It is the frog. For 300 million years, frogs have mastered the art of survival. They live in jungles, deserts, mountains, and even underground. Some are deadly poisonous. Some can freeze solid and survive winter. Some can change color. Some can leap 20 times their own body length. But most importantly, they are disappearing. And their disappearance could mean the end of life as we know it. This is their story. What are frogs? Let's start with a simple question. What exactly are frogs? They are amphibians. The word amphibian means two lives because frogs live in two worlds. They live in water, and they live on land. This dual life is their greatest strength. Frogs belong to a group of animals called Anura. They are vertebrates, which means they have a backbone. But unlike reptiles, frogs have moist skin. This skin is incredibly important. It must stay wet at all times. Without moisture, a frog cannot breathe because frogs can actually breathe through their skin. Their skin is covered in tiny blood vessels that absorb oxygen directly from the air. A frog's skin is also incredibly sensitive. It can sense temperature, humidity, and danger. And in some species, it produces deadly poisons. But we'll get to that later. The key thing to understand is that a frog's body is perfectly designed for survival. Every feature serves a purpose. Their powerful back legs are built for jumping. Their weak front legs are for balance. Their large eyes see in almost all directions. And their smooth, wet skin keeps them moist and protected. The evolutionary journey. Now, let's travel back in time. 300 million years back. During this ancient period, animals were just beginning to leave the ocean. They were learning to walk on land. One of these pioneers was the ancestor of today's frogs. 300 million years ago, the first amphibians crawled out of the water. They had fish-like fins turning into legs. They had gills turning into lungs. This was a revolutionary moment in evolution. Life was spreading onto land for the first time. For millions of years, these early amphibians ruled the earth. But then came the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were massive. They dominated for 170 million years. During all this time, frogs were there too. But they stayed small. They stayed hidden. They were smart enough to stay out of the way. And then, 70 million years ago, a massive asteroid hit the Earth. The dinosaurs died. But the frogs survived. Why? Because they were small. They needed less food. They could hide in small spaces. And most importantly, they could survive in water when the land became uninhabitable. After the dinosaurs disappeared, frogs began to evolve rapidly. They adapted to every environment on Earth. Some became large. Some stayed tiny. Some became poisonous. Some became excellent hunters. And this evolution continues to this day. Today, frogs are one of the most successful vertebrates on the planet. How many frog species exist? Scientists have discovered more than 7,000 different species of frogs. 7,000. And that's only the ones we know about. Scientists believe there could be 10,000 or more species, especially in unexplored rainforests. Let's look at some major groups. First, we have true frogs. These are the most common frogs. They live both in trees and in water. Then we have tree frogs. These frogs have special sticky pads on their toes that allow them to climb smooth surfaces. Some tree frogs can literally walk on glass. There are also bullfrogs. These are large, powerful frogs with loud calls. And then there are poison dart frogs. These are the most dangerous. More on them soon. Every frog species is adapted to a specific environment. They live in rainforests, deserts, mountains, underground, in trees, in water. You name it, there's a frog living there. The most dangerous frogs. Now let's talk about something deadly. In the rainforests of South America, there are frogs so poisonous that a single touch could kill you. These are poison dart frogs. The name, poison dart frog, comes from an indigenous practice. Hunters would use these frogs' poison on their blow darts. Just a tiny amount of poison on a dart could kill large animals. This is how dangerous these frogs are. Poison dart frogs get their poison from eating certain small insects. These insects contain alkaloid chemicals. The frogs eat these insects and accumulate the poison in their skin. But here's the amazing part, the frogs don't die from the poison. Their bodies have special adaptations that protect them. The most dangerous is the golden poison frog. 1 milligram of its poison could kill 10,000 humans. 1 milligram. That's smaller than a grain of salt. Just this tiny amount could kill 10,000 people. The colors of poison dart frogs are a warning. Bright red. Bright yellow. Bright blue. In the rainforest, these colors mean one thing: stay away. I am poisonous. Don't touch me. But poison dart frogs are not the only dangerous frogs. There are hundreds of species with poisonous skin. Some cause severe pain. Some cause paralysis. Some are so toxic that even a small wound on your hand could be deadly if you touched one. Where do frogs live? Frogs live almost everywhere. Rainforests, deserts, mountains, underground. Each environment has taught frogs different survival tricks. In rainforests, it's hot and wet. Frogs thrive here. Many rainforest frogs live in trees. Some live their entire lives in trees, never touching the ground. They have special toe pads that stick to leaves and branches. Flying frogs jump from trees and spread special skin flaps between their legs. They don't actually fly, but they glide through the air, slowing their fall. Now let's look at the desert. How do frogs survive where there's almost no water? Well, some frogs have mastered hibernation. They bury themselves underground and sleep for years. When rare rains come, they wake up. They have just 1 or 2 nights to breed before the water disappears and they must return underground. Imagine that. Waiting years for a single rainy night to reproduce. These frogs actually wrap themselves in a protective skin coating that prevents water loss. It's like they're wearing a waterproof suit underground. They can survive on almost no water for months or even years. The frog body, a marvel of design. Let's look at a frog's body in detail. It's a fascinating piece of engineering. First, the eyes. Frogs have large eyes that see very well. But here's something strange, frogs can push their eyes into their head. Why? When they swallow food, pushing their eyes inward helps push the food down their throat. Their ears are different from ours. Frogs don't have external ears. Instead, they have a membrane called a tympanum, directly on the side of their head. This membrane vibrates when it hears sound. Now, the breathing system. Frogs have lungs, but here's the amazing part, they can also breathe through their skin. Their skin is so thin and moist that oxygen passes directly through it into their bloodstream. This is why frogs must stay moist. A dry frog cannot breathe. The skeleton is simple. Only about 9 to 10 vertebrae, compared to 33 in humans. The back legs are long and powerful, built for jumping. The front legs are short and weak, used mainly for balance and catching food. Amazing abilities. A frog can jump 20 times the length of its own body. If humans could do this, we could leap across a basketball court in a single jump. The forces involved are extreme. When a frog jumps, it experiences massive acceleration. If humans experienced the same forces, we would break our spines. But frogs are built for this. Some frogs can change color. Not as dramatically as chameleons, but still impressive. A frog green during the day can turn brown at night. This happens because their skin contains special cells with different colored pigments. When the frog moves to a different environment or changes mood, these cells contract or expand, changing the frog's color. When threatened, some frogs can inflate their bodies. They blow themselves up like balloons. This makes them look larger and scarier. Many predators will leave them alone. And here's the most remarkable ability, some frogs can freeze. In northern regions where winters are harsh, certain frogs actually freeze solid. Ice forms on their bodies. But they don't die. How? They produce a special chemical that acts like antifreeze. This chemical protects their cells from being destroyed by ice. When spring comes, the ice melts, and the frog simply wakes up. A freeze lasting 6 months or more. How frogs hunt and eat. A frog's hunting technique is remarkably fast. When a frog spots an insect, it watches carefully. Then, in a fraction of a second, it shoots out its tongue. This tongue is incredibly sticky. The insect sticks to it instantly. And in less than a second, the tongue retracts, and the insect is in the frog's mouth. Frogs don't chew. They swallow their food whole. Some frogs are so determined that they'll eat things that might poison them. Larger frogs will eat larger prey. Bullfrogs have been known to eat small snakes or even other frogs. In nature, larger animals eat smaller animals. That's just how it works. What do frogs eat? Insects, spiders, worms, snails. Small frogs eat tiny insects. Large frogs eat larger prey. Some eat other frogs. A single frog can eat thousands of insects in its lifetime. This is actually very important for humans because frogs control pest populations naturally. The language of frogs. When night falls, especially during breeding season, rainforests become incredibly loud. This is the frog chorus. Hundreds or thousands of frogs calling at the same time. Each species has its own unique call. Each sound serves a purpose. The main purpose of frog calls is to attract mates. Male frogs call to say, "I'm here. I'm ready to breed. Come to me." Each species call is distinct. Some sound like bells. Some sound like doors creaking. Some sound like drums. Some sound like chainsaws. The variety is incredible. Male frogs produce these sounds using a vocal sac. This is a pouch in their throat. When they breathe out, air goes into this sac, making it inflate like a balloon. Sometimes the sac gets as large as the frog's entire body. The sac vibrates, producing sound. Some frog calls are so loud that humans can hear them from a kilometer away. Reproduction and the miracle of metamorphosis. When breeding season arrives, male frogs gather in water and call. Females come to them. Then something remarkable happens. The male grasps the female from behind. They stay like this for hours, sometimes all night. This position is called amplexus. Eventually, the female releases millions of eggs. Millions. A single frog can lay tens of thousands to 100,000 eggs. The male fertilizes them simultaneously. These eggs are covered in jelly that protects them from predator. The eggs develop rapidly. Within days, a tiny creature is visible inside each egg. This is called a tadpole. It's not yet a frog. It's something completely different. When the tadpole hatches, it looks like a tiny fish. It has a long tail. No legs. No arms. It breathes through gills like a fish. It lives only in water. It eats algae and plants. For several weeks, it grows and develops. Then something incredible happens. Metamorphosis. The tadpole begins to change. First, back legs appear as tiny buds. Then front legs. The gills begin to disappear. Lungs form inside. The tadpole starts breathing air. It comes to the water's surface and takes its first breath. The most amazing part, the tail doesn't fall off. The tadpole reabsorbs it. The tail cells are broken down, and their nutrients are used to build muscles and bones for the growing frog. Nothing is wasted. This entire transformation takes weeks or months. Now we have a froglet. A tiny frog. It's ready to live on land. It can hunt insects. It can hop. In a few more years, it will be an adult and ready to breed. How long do frogs live? How long does a frog live? In the wild, life is short and hard. Most frogs live only 10 to 15 years. Some species live just 2 or 3 years. They face constant dangers from predators and disease. But in captivity, where frogs are protected and fed regularly, they live much longer. Some frogs can reach 20 to 30 years old. The largest frogs generally live longer than the smallest ones. How frogs protect themselves. Frogs face many predators. Snakes, birds, fish, large spiders. So they've developed multiple defense strategies. First, they can puff up their bodies. By inflating themselves with air, they appear larger and more threatening. A predator might think twice before attacking. Second, warning colors. If a frog is brightly colored, red, yellow, or blue, it's advertising its toxins. I'm poisonous. Don't eat me. Third, camouflage. Many frogs' colors match their surroundings perfectly. A frog on a brown branch looks brown. A frog on green leaves looks green. They become virtually invisible. Despite these defenses, many frogs are eaten. Snakes specialize in hunting frogs. Some snakes have even evolved immunity to frog poisons. Birds dive down and snatch frogs. Large fish hunt tadpoles. It's a constant battle for survival. Why frogs matter? Frogs are incredibly important to our planet. First, they control insects. A single frog eats thousands of insects in its lifetime. Mosquitoes, flies, crop-damaging bugs. Without frogs, insect populations would explode. Our crops would be destroyed. Diseases spread by insects would increase. Tadpoles are also crucial. Many animals eat tadpoles. Fish, birds, insects. If tadpoles disappeared, these animals would starve. This would cause a chain reaction through the entire ecosystem. Frogs are also environmental indicators. When frog populations decline, it's a sign that something is wrong with the environment. Perhaps water is polluted. Perhaps the climate is changing. Frogs are so sensitive to environmental changes that scientists use them to monitor ecosystem health. Strange and wonderful frogs. Some frogs are so strange that they seem like fantasy creatures. The hairy frog from Cameroon has hair-like structures covering its body. Scientists still don't know exactly why. Glass frogs are completely transparent. You can see their internal organs. You can count their eggs inside their bodies. They lay eggs on leaves above water. The Vietnamese mossy frog is covered in bumps that look like moss. It's so well camouflaged that it's almost invisible in its rainforest home. The bumblebee frog is tiny, only 2 centimeters long, but it's deadly poisonous. The dangers frogs face. But now, frogs face serious threats. In fact, frogs are disappearing from our planet at an alarming rate. The first threat is habitat loss. Forests are being cut down. Wetlands are being drained. Cities are expanding. Farmland is replacing wild areas. Frogs lose their homes and have nowhere else to go. The second threat is pollution. Pesticides from farms wash into waterways. Industrial chemicals pollute rivers. These toxins enter frogs' bodies and damage their brains, affecting their ability to reproduce and communicate. The third threat is climate change. Rising temperatures are changing where frogs can survive. Rainfall patterns are shifting. Frogs are very sensitive to these changes. If breeding season comes at the wrong time, frogs can't reproduce. If temperatures get too high, frogs overheat. If they get too cold, some freeze. The most devastating threat is a fungal disease. A fungus called chytrid has spread across the world, killing entire frog populations. This fungus destroys frogs' skin, which they use to breathe. Infected frogs suffocate. Millions of frogs have died from this disease. Entire species have gone extinct. Another threat is the illegal wildlife trade. People capture endangered frogs and sell them as pets. This has devastated many rare species. But there is hope. Scientists around the world are working to save frogs. Many zoos and research centers are breeding endangered frogs in captivity. They're trying to increase populations before species go extinct. Some frogs are being reintroduced to protected areas where they once lived. Habitats are being protected and restored. Wetlands are being created. Forests are being preserved. Some countries have banned pesticides that harm frogs. Rivers are being cleaned. And people everywhere are learning to care about frogs. Education programs teach children why frogs matter. Communities are working to protect local frog habitats. More and more people understand that saving frogs is saving ourselves. Conclusion, a silent warning. So we return to where we began. A frog's eye in the darkness of night. This simple creature. This extraordinary survivor. This remarkable ambassador of nature. Every night, when the sun sets, these frogs sing. Millions of them. In jungles, swamps, and forests around the world. This chorus has been happening for millions of years. But now, this chorus is growing fainter. Frogs are connected to everything. They eat insects, controlling populations. They are eaten by larger animals. They lay eggs in water that nurtures fish and other creatures. They breathe through their skin, indicating when water is healthy or polluted. Remove frogs from the equation, and the entire system collapses. If we don't protect them, this symphony will fade to silence. For the first time in 300 million years, frogs could disappear. But we can stop this. We can save frogs. We can protect their homes. We can clean our water. We can reduce pollution. We can slow climate change. If we choose to. The frog is not just an animal. It's a messenger. It's telling us that our planet needs help. It's asking us to listen. And if we listen closely, on a warm night, near a pond or river, you might hear their ancient song. A song that has echoed through 300 million years of Earth's history. A song that could disappear. Unless we act. Listen. Can you hear them calling?